So what's the most elite neighborhood in Houston? Most people think that it's River Oaks. Guess what? What most people don't know is that Tanglewood is right up there with River Oaks. And we're gonna tell you all about it right now. Welcome to Living in Houston channel. We are all about living in Houston, the good, the bad, the ugly, anything and everything you want to know. So you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so that you are notified every single time we put out a new video. And honestly, we're getting calls from so many people and we absolutely love it. We'd love to hear from you. All right, Tanglewood.
Tanglewood. Now, this was inspired by a question from one of you guys from on our River Oaks video about which was more elite, the River Oaks Country Club or the Houston Country
Club. And just in general, too, I think he was asking about, he actually threw a third neighborhood in there, which was River Oaks, Tanglewood, or Memorial. And that was just kind of a loaded question. And our response actually was, a lot of it is lifestyle. It really does boil down to lifestyle. They're all three very affluent neighborhoods. I think River Oaks is a little bit flashier. So Tanglewood is probably best known for one of its most famous residents up until they died, but it was the Bushes, George H. and Barbara Bush. And they lived there for many, many years. And they even went to St. Martin's Episcopal, which is right there at the corner of Sage and Woodway. Which happens to be where my dad was the music director up until he retired, and would often see George and Barbara at church. In fact, I had the pleasure of seeing Barbara speak at an event there, and she gave her testimony, and that was pretty interesting.
And that's where your sister got married.
That's where my sister got married, and gosh, lots of life happened there. It's a beautiful, amazing church with an incredible organ. And anyway, back to Tanglewood. It's right there in the heart of Tanglewood. But that's probably the most famous resident. It was developed back in 1948. And it's got about 1,220 lots. And it's really beautiful. There's a main esplanade, a main street, which is Tanglewood Road. And it's a mile long, and it's like an esplanade that goes down. So if you're not familiar with an esplanade, it's like a pathway. And so you've got the streets go on either side of it, in opposite directions, right? So you've got a north and south, essentially. And in fact, when I was younger and first moved back to Houston after college and was living by the Galleria, just literally I lived a few blocks away, that's where we would go and walk every day after work. And it's just beautiful. They've got these really old, majestic live oak trees. So it's very shaded. So it's a really beautiful place to go walk.
Now, it didn't start out that way. It started out as a bunch of rice fields, right?
Yep. And it was like a barren prairie, basically. So I think So while Tanglewood is very close to the Galleria in Uptown, which is great, I think it's one of the big selling points of the neighborhood, it's a very quiet neighborhood. So it's kind of like just tucked away. And so I think that's why a lot of people just aren't even aware of it. But it's a beautiful neighborhood to drive through. It's very quiet and very, very pretty. And on the esplanade, they've got these nice teak benches that you can sit down if you need to take a break or you just want to go sit in kind of a park-like setting. It's very nice. But it's a pretty close-knit community. So we've talked a lot about zoning or lack of in Houston. And so one of the nice things about Tanglewood is that it has very clear deed restrictions and it is a residential community. And the Homeowners Association is in charge of enforcing those deed restrictions and making sure that people are keeping up their properties. And so it really is a community that has held its value and continues to appreciate. The HOA is in charge of, they have like private trash removal, which is nice. You're not reliant on the city. They take care of like the medians and the common areas, the cul-de-sacs. One of the things I love is that they have a 24-hour neighborhood patrol. So that's also, if you're concerned about safety, that's a great benefit as well. So originally the neighborhood was filled with ranch style homes.
Right.
And as people have generations have kind of moved in and out, they've, you know, torn those ranch style homes down and built these much larger 2-story homes, because the average lot size in Tanglewood it's actually 17,000 a square foot.
Wow.
I mean,
17,000
square foot, a lot.
Yeah.
But you have some like half-acre lots. You have some that are larger, and you'll have some that are smaller. Like there are some 10,000 square foot lots, but the majority, I think, of what you're going to see are going to be 15,000 and up, which is another, you know, big selling point, because if you're in the Heights or in town, you know, inside the Loop, because this is just right outside the Loop, remember, by the Galleria, your average lot inside the Loop is going to be more like 5,000 square feet. Now the lots in River Oaks are going to be larger, but not all of them. So to me, that's a big plus, and part of what makes the neighborhood so beautiful.
Yeah.
So the Tanglewood Garden Club was founded in 1951, and I think this is a pretty unique thing for Houston. And the Garden Club was actually really responsible for the trees that were planted. I mean, you were just talking about what the neighborhood was like when they first developed it.
Yeah, it was a bunch of rice fields, and so literally it was a bald prairie out there just outside of Houston back in the late 1940s.
So the women in the Garden Club back in 1951 decided that they were going to plant trees. And so they went through this whole fundraising process, and it was kind of funny to look at the numbers. It was like the first round of funding, I think, was like $200. And what's crazy is they initially planted 54 trees, I think, with that $200, which today I don't even think that would buy you one.
No.
And then later on they added more, and then that brought it up to a total of like 92 trees. And that's in all of the 14 esplanades. So that's pretty cool. Other things that they're responsible for are like mosquito spraying. They encourage people to put up their Christmas lights. They provide the benches, the teak benches for the boulevard. I think you'll see like there's little plaques dedicated to different people. They also handle all the planting at the entrances, which are also always beautiful. They always have some kind of nice landscaping and, you know, blooming flowers. They also purchased 56 crepe myrtles for the boulevard and put those up. So basically they were responsible for planting the trees and making it pretty and you know, providing the gardening, that kind of thing. They initiated the 4th of July parade that goes through Tanglewood, which is a very fun event. And they just continue to do different projects to, you know, keep with the community. And it's been, if you're new and you're moving to Tanglewood, if you're new to the area, it's a great way to get involved and make friends and meet people. And they do all kinds of things. I'm just like touching the surface, and we'll put a link to their website too, so you can check that out and see what other kind of activities that they get up to.
So River Oaks has the River Oaks Country Club. Tanglewood has
the Houston Country Club.
The Houston Country Club. Okay.
And it's a beautiful, I've been to many parties there, and it's a beautiful country club. And they've got, you know, golf and tennis and swimming and, you know, all that kind of stuff. In fact, that's where George Bush met James Baker and Robert Mosbacher. Did you know that?
No.
Yep, playing tennis.
I can't even imagine that tennis match.
I think that was back like in the early 60s, maybe.
Yeah.
So let's talk about real estate.
Okay.
We talked about the fact that there used to be ranch style homes, and there still are. And the interesting thing about Tanglewood is that a lot of people that, you know, lived there and got to retirement age were forced to sell and move out because the taxes were so high.
Yeah.
Which was sad and kind of crazy, but that's just a reality.
When it comes to property values.
Yeah, but that's how much the property values have appreciated in Tanglewood over the years. So we talked about the fact that you've got like a lot of the large half-acre lots, and the average lot size is about 17,000 square feet.
It's about 3 times the normal size within the city.
So we're going to just give you an idea of active listings if you were to go out today and shop for houses. On the low end of an older ranch style home that's been updated, they're going to start at about 1.36 million. So, you know, that would be an entry level house in Tanglewood for an older home. That is like on an almost 11,000 square foot lot with 2,684 square feet. So that's a pretty modest house for Tanglewood. And that is, built, the one we're talking about was built in 1958. And that's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. And again, it was updated. The most expensive house currently on the market in Tanglewood as of filming today is $4.75 million. And that was built in 2011. And it's on a 10,000 square foot lot. I'm sorry. The house is 10,000 square feet, and it's on a 1/2 acre lot with a pool. It's got an elevator, a media room. It's got all the, so obviously big difference between 1.36 and 4.75.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful. The average sales price in Tanglewood for the last 6 months here is $2.417 million, just to give you a general idea, which equates to about $422 a square foot. So give you an idea. Most residents send their kids to private school.
Yeah.
The elementary school that most of Tanglewood is zoned to is Briar Grove Elementary, which is an A-rated school. But for middle school and high school, you've got a C rating.
So unlike Memorial and Memorial Villages, which are in Spring Branch ISD,
this is HISD.
This is all within HISD. Okay.
So there's a big difference. And so most people send their kids to private schools.
And we say this all the time. Sorry, ISD, it's an independent school district. So Spring Branch has its own independent school district, which covers Spring Branch, Memorial Villages, whereas Tanglewood is part of the broader Houston Independent School District, the largest school district within the state of Texas.
Yep. So the last thing I'll hit on is just that it's a super easy commute. If you work downtown, you can actually just take Memorial straight downtown. You don't even have to get on the freeway, which is nice. You can bypass all the 610 traffic and just go underneath
I-10, 290.
Yep. Yeah. If you work in the Galleria, Uptown area, my gosh, that's a 5-minute, not even commute. I mean, it'll take you 5 minutes just because.
And that's why Tanglewood is kind of a favorite spot for a lot of CEOs, executives, oil tycoon types that have to work in and out of either downtown or out of the Galleria area.
And again, you're close to all the major freeways, so it's super easy to get to the airport. If you work in the energy corridor and want to do a reverse commute, it's also a good location for that as well. But it's great. It's, in my opinion, also the med center. You've got a lot of doctors that live in Tanglewood because they like the quietness of the neighborhood, and it's that's probably 20-25 minutes. So while Houston's crazy traffic just might be lurking, just not that far away, there's something about when you just drive into Tanglewood that just kind of releases all the stress. It's just a beautiful place to live, and we encourage you to check it out. If you're moving to Houston and this neighborhood is in your budget, give us a call. We would love to introduce you to this beautiful neighborhood.
And why we think so highly of it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Be sure and give us that thumbs up, give us that like, hit that subscribe button. Hey, and look, if you've got some feedback, if you think we're way off on this, let us know down in the comments section. You never know, maybe we'll do a video based on one of your questions.
Thanks, guys. Until next time.
See you later. Bye-bye.